Hello and welcome to another very exciting episode of Pop Cultured. I am joined by my good friend Ugo and Cosplay, which also works out very well. So I don't want any infighting here with Man at Arms and Trapjaw because we are joined by the amazing Sam C. Wilson, who was Trapjaw in Masters of the Universe. Welcome to the podcast, Sam.
Well, thank you so much for having me, guys. It's my pleasure to be here.
And it's a pleasure to be here as well.
Let's just kick off by saying we've had a quick conversation beforehand. I have seen Master of the Universe 3 times now. I absolutely love it. And I think you are brilliant as Trapjaw. And Jet, that is genuinely serious, not just because we're on a podcast or anything. You are brilliant in the character.
Thanks so much, man.
Your opening with Idris, the choreography and everything about it, you are so menacing in that scene, but it is just shot perfectly. I absolutely love that scene.
It's great. I was really relieved when I saw it in the screening in LA, which is the first time I saw it. And I saw a little bit when we did ADR, which is audio dialogue replacement. But really, the first time I saw it in its glory was then. And I've got to admit, I was like really happy because when you first go in, the stunts department have already done something called a previs. Now, I don't want to over it, but I think it's probably good to always err on the side of over explaining because I didn't know what this meant. So it's like a pre-visualization. So you go in and the stunts guys they get you an iPad and they go, this is the fight. And what they've done is they've already, months before you've got there, blocked out and shot, proposed, been said yes or no, gone back, proposed, and they've worked out the fights. That's kind of like their job, is to kind of have the fights kind of sorted, and they and the director work through that. And what they do is they shoot their version of the fight, but it is a shot-for-shot plan. So it works as a working storyboard, but you also, that fight that you saw, I mean, the lads had, they would have foam, and they would, depending, because they do it over days and days, same as how it's shot, but there'd be one bit where they wear a helmet and then one guy just wears a piece of cardboard with a jaw and holding a foam hook or whatever, just to signify what's going on. So they'll do their best to and they have boxes to make the corridor, and they'll do this thing, or if there's a shot missing, they'll have a hand drawing of some storyboarding, and all in, it conveys to you, the actor, exactly what that fight scene is going to look like. And I got to tell you, when they first showed me that, I went, oh my God, that is unbelievable. It was so good. I really had come from, I had just shot Blade Runner 2099, which is out. I think it was meant to be this year. It might be next year. I don't know I kind of know what you guys know on dates. They don't tell me anything. But I had just come off shooting that, and I'd done a lot of fighting in that fight scenes that were new. A lot of very grapply, nasty, almost like Old Boy, Krav Maga-y, kind of right in there, and the cameras are up and lots of clawing and that kind of thing. It's probably all I can say about that, but I'm up against Michelle Yeoh and Hunter Schafer, so
dropping names.
Yeah, I know, all over the place. But I kind of I've gone from being, I grew up boxing and then I went to drama school basically. And I wasn't really, we didn't get loads and loads of stage combat training. We got a bit. And then now and then in a TV show, the stunt guys have been there and they've said, yeah, we're going to throw a punch that way. You run through the punch or you run through the fight. And it's bang, or whatever. There's 3 shots. They show me this thing. And I think, well, first of all, I thought that's amazing. But then kind of quickly after that, I thought, shit, can I do that? Because it's a
because you have that worked out, because they have that worked out so far in advance. When it comes to you, I can imagine that when it comes to having you guys there, that there may be elements they decide to change, either because of skills you have or things that are not as possible, or maybe even because of the costume. How does that work?
That's such a great question, actually. Such fantastic way of, because yeah, you're bang on. There are a couple of the movements where we have got these genuine 3D printed robot trousers, which when you first put them on, you look like Wallace and Gromit. The wrong trousers. They're huge. So like I had to get really big to fill out the costume, because the costume, you drown in that costume, because it's like there's a big shoulder guard and another big thing here, and to try and get your body outwards to meet that, because they told me early on, like, your body's not going to be CG'd and you don't have a bodysuit. We're painting you blue. Right. And I was like, sure. Can I definitely not have, like, because I saw like a cosplay guy had just worn a rubber blue, like ripped to shreds, like alien, no skin, six pack out here. And I thought, great, I'll get one of them. And everyone will think I'm huge. And to be fair, on the first day, Idris said to me, have you not got a bodysuit on? And I thought, that's what I wanted to hear. Because it was, it was me. Yeah. I mean,
that's great.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't follow up with, because your bodysuit looks a bit baggy. Yeah, it's hanging off you. But yeah, so absolutely, there are moments within it where you go, look, on the day, this little move here ain't going to be achievable. But by and large, the challenge was more like, how do we just make it's got to work? So how do you just make it work? And often it would be the case of like my stunt double coming in, and like for a particularly bad tumble, there would be the stunt double, there would be like the stunt trousers, which were made out of like a softer rubber, and then they would, like, so the bit on the bridge with Adam where we're rolling around, that bit there, elements of it would be Miles. The bit where they all get blown up and they literally go flying, they really went flying, it's real. A couple of the bits where we're tumbling, so bits where you think, oh my word, that looks like it would have destroyed the costume, that would have been Miles, who then would have had to go and get, like, you know, patched up. And because all those bits tend to be in motion, the costume or mask don't have to be as perfect. But to be honest with you, this is still credit to the stunt department, though. Actually, they train you so much, and they're so kind of there for you on standby on the day, that the goal is to have you doing everything. Because once you've learnt the fight, that's all well and good. Then you've got to learn the fight at speed, and then then at the end of it all, you've got to make it look good. And that finishing touch is like, that's hard, bro. Like when someone throws a punch, like there's some of the bits that the bits that I'm happiest with, that there's the big swings that you'd think, whoa, I bet he's really happy with that. And like, I am. But the bits that I'm really happy with are like when he's got his what would you call it? Duncan's
mace, sort of.
like his mace, the mace. That's right. Sorry, couldn't think of the word for it then. When he's got the mace and he's giving me some of those licks at the end, the bit that I'm most happy with is my head reaction, because that's the bit that's actually really, what's really hard to sell is getting hit.
Yeah.
And that's what these guys are absolute experts at. And so, yeah, you know, often we'd finish a shot and my helmet was like on backwards, or like, you know, a tooth is flapping off, or what have you.
I can't help but have Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck in my head after being shot and the mouth going.
Dude, it's totally that. The bit, you know, the bit where I don't know how many spoilers we can.
We're going full spoilers. Like we literally cool. Started straight away. John just was like, this, and this. We got to go into it. So we're like, great. Full spoilers. Let's go.
Cool. So the bit where my jaw comes down, when it just slams it shut, he actually slammed it shut, and I went, oh my God. And that noise where I go, that's real.
That's you.
It is not CGI. Mm-hmm. None of, like, I think the only CGI in the fight is like the arm transformations and the arm from here up to there. But when I have the gun, they gave me a blaster, the designed blaster, or I held the hook or I held the knife. That green bit there is the only it's the only CG. But, you know, even when, you know, there's cable work when I'm up in the air, or Miles is up in the air, or whoever, and so there's a lot of, like, it was really one-on-one. It was serious. We got in that bit where we're dragging each other along the wall, and the bit from, you know, the kind of artwork that Amazon have shared where we're up against the wall. It's all real. Idris is hard. He's like a strong
Sir
guy.
Idris. Let's
Sir Idris is hard, and
Sir Idris.
My man can fight. And, you know, like, he he has that. I used to box quite badly, and Idris has got that like genuine, that center of gravity, that immovable center of gravity that really good, experienced. You know, in I know that we're in like movie tough, but I've been around real hard people before, and they have a density to them that Idris really kind of that comes into the room with him. But he was lovely, man. He was so cool. He made it like, you know, he laughed at my jokes and they weren't that funny. And he made me feel, he went out of his way to make me feel comfortable. Do you know what I mean? And he does his own stunts,
I can.
by and large.
That's awesome.
And Tom does some of them, his stunt double as well. The point being that the stunt doubles are around for if we're going to get really hurt and insurance won't cover it. But it was actually Tom who said to me, their job done well is that we do as much as possible. Because that's always what the editor's going to want.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I had about 4 stone on Miles, really. So, like, kind of, it's better for them that we're doing it. Mm-hmm. So I probably answered your question and more, but it's...
I suppose when you're wearing the armour as well, because one of the things I straight away picked up on is the run for Trapjaw is very lumbered and quite exaggerated, and I'm guessing that's the costume, that you really didn't have much choice but to run like that as well. Although it was fantastic, it worked so well.
Acting required, mate.
Yeah.
For that. Be fair, my decision was always, like, I literally looked at a diagram. My decision was early on, follow my instincts, see what Travis thought. I thought, I'm going to play him like a chimp, like Caesar is a big reference that I use, which you may have seen through kind of...
the shoulders.
Yeah, you know, but like keeping my head on a kind of point.
Yeah.
And then I decided, right, I'm going to come up with a kind of anatomy. I want a metal rod through his middle that is bendy. I want his head kind of needs to be held up straight because he'll lose his balance otherwise. He's got all of his metal work is low, and then he's got this arm taking him off to the side. And then I kind of came up with this walk for him. Then I got the costume on, and I was like, yeah, like...
That's what it... But I really love that process. I really love the process, that the detail they went through to... Because it's that detail that no one is ever going to think of or pick up on. It will just have that impression of it being real because of that movement, because you're thinking about that weight, and we just take it, and it's like, it just makes it more real as opposed to, you know... So I really love that you go through that process.
I'm glad that it worked. I think the thing is that, like, you know, when all said and done, right, you go through acting training and you do, like, you know, Shakespeare and Chekhov and all those things, and you think you're really, really very, very clever and very pleased with yourself for a year or so, and then you go out into the world and you like go into your first yogurt advert, and they're like, look like you like the yogurt or whatever. True story, right? And so, and I was like, and they're like, you look like it smells weird, dude. So you go through those processes of how to approach those characters, and then there's almost a bit of a nose turning up at, like, and I found myself almost going, yeah, Trapjaw, ha ha, like you know, really broad or whatever. And I thought, nah, fuck that. Like, it's my job. I like my job. And I don't think that what I'm doing is the most important thing in the world by a long stretch. My family are medical, my partner's a midwife. But I know that to me, it has to feel like the most important job in that moment, because I want to do it justice, because it means an awful lot to a lot of people, and also, like, you get out of my job what you put in. So if you decide, right, I'm gonna train for it, I'm gonna come up with a character for him, I'm gonna go into his backstory, I'm gonna figure out what he walks and what he sounds like, then you end up being really proud of your work because you put stuff into it. So it's kind of like that can be a thing as an actor. Some people, I think, can kind of think they're above something, and I just really, in general, try to make sure that I never feel that, you know?
Yeah, it definitely, honestly, it definitely shows. I've found, and I think Ugo will probably agree, since I started doing cosplay and stuff like that and doing characters and stuff, you find yourself looking at the nuances and the little bits in characters and stuff. So when I'm watching a film, definitely the second time, because then obviously I've watched the story and that, I look for little things. It's the stuff like the walk and how you hold yourself and that I notice, because I try to, like, when I'm watching Daredevil or something like that, I'll watch how Charlie moves and stuff like that and try and emulate that in photos or videos. So it's something we as cosplayers do look for and notice how much effort you do put in.
Oh, well, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's cool that you have to come up with it. That's the thing, because for us is it's easy. We just copy it, right? We look at the way those little things and we copy it. But having to come up with it and thinking about things like the weight and stuff, I find particularly fascinating. I was going to ask, what about the voice? Because I can imagine that you probably had an idea for how it will sound. Do you go through a similar kind of thing? You know, obviously he has a trap jaw, and then did any of that change when you were wearing it? Because I imagine you had to say lines without the suit and with the suit, and how did that work?
I think I got to say, smashing it out of the park with the questions, guys. I mean, this is just because I got to tell you, this is the type of stuff that like. Because sometimes people are like, you know, what really makes you tick? What kind of what like Pokemon would you be? And whilst I like those questions, like these are like this is like my bread and butter. So
okay, so this is good. This is the sort of thing that we like. So it's
yeah, welcome
because
to
you're
the
prepared to
cosplay world.
Exactly. I mean, as long as you're sort of prepared to humour me, I mean, I'm delighted to talk about it.
Yeah, of course. Go for it.
But basically, yeah. So the voice. So the first instinct I had when I first read it, a lot of it was kind of like we enter into this like hyper masculine world, and a lot of the I knew the IP the macho men and all that. So I kind of did my first one a bit like. Did you ever watch Napoleon Dynamite?
I know what you mean. Yes.
There's a character in it called Rex Kwon Do, and he's this like all American. Like he's a bit of a joke. He kind of talks like this. He has this. He goes, You think anybody wants a roundhouse kick to the face while I'm wearing these bad boys? Forget about it. Yeah. Or like a bit of a kind of. Yeah, brother. You know the Macho Man, Randy. So you know that
really
kind of that. Yeah. So kind of like.
Wow.
So those kind of like forcing down here and that kind of domain, and because in the original reading it was like he says things are getting out of hand here, and I say, oh, they are they? Like kind of that kind of. So that is how I played it, and then I kind of as we got into it, and we wanted it to have him like real menace. I had to actually push my chin out, and I had to do this to keep the eyebrows going inwards, and then I had to push my chin against this like fixture to keep the articulation going.
Okay.
So and then like this.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing all my lines. Okay. And then I kind of start to work my movement in it, and then I kind of as I came around the corner I went like they went, we're gonna reveal you. And I kind of got and you start to know shots, and I thought just before I come in, I said I tried it on a take, and then Travis went with it. But on the first take, I went as I came round the corner, and then so the laugh wasn't there. I said, "Weak little palace boys," and we started. And then I started to imagine that he's in pain all the time, and that all of these teeth hurt because they're being chomped on. And I kind of imagine that he's not got access to any like anaesthetics. And he's operating on himself all the time. And I kind of thought the bit of him that is left biological is in agonising. So I kind of imagined that he was like...
You want to reflect that.
And kind of
like
constantly chewing.
The mechanics as well.
Yeah, completely. It's like literally his voice box would be bordering on where all that really horrible mechanics are meeting his biology or whatever. In my world, it's like shoved in. It's not like fine tuned, you know. So I kind of followed my instinct on that, and Travis was like, "Yep, yes, thank you, yeah, great, that's perfect, yeah," and he liked it, and so I'm again majorly lucky that I had a director who was like, "Great choice, love that."
Yeah,
which is like not always the way, and that's fine. And sometimes, like I've had recently, I came up. I lost out on a role like this week that I was desperate for. That I was like. One of the last people for, and I didn't get that, and I've had to kind of just soothe myself with it, sometimes you are just not that role, like it's just not you. There's nothing you could have done differently. It's just not yours. And that one on the flip side happened to just really be mine, and I'm incredibly lucky because I'm lucky that Travis obviously had an idea in his head of what the voice should sound like, and I just happened to luck upon the marrying of those. Do you know what I mean? But there is certainly a degree of like you're lucky that your take happens to be their take. That's part of the lottery of it as well. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, John said the same about Travis, that it was refreshing to have someone who was obviously a massive fan of the IP themselves before they even took on the IP. He was saying, like, Bumblebee, Travis obviously loved Transformers when he did that. And John was saying he was a massive Star Trek fan and started doing Star Trek jokes, and Travis was literally playing off them. So to have someone who's a fan of the IP beforehand and open to interpretations of the characters, I guess is really helpful and just quite a nice, not relaxing feel on set, but easier to work with on set.
It is, because you're kind of getting this permission from a fan that that's an okay angle. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like you're not like shitting all over an idea. Because what I also did is I watched a lot of the animated, and I watched Cronus animated. That was super helpful because I made him like what that Cronus would be if he was dragged through hell and back by way of Elm Street, you know? Mm-hmm. Like I kind of, but I still borrowed like almost like a more bionic, more undead jaw being ripped off by Skeletor. You know, I tried to do that homework on him and think, okay, he's a disgruntled, bitter, psychotic general now. But I kind of definitely had the origin as the animated, the CGI animated series. That's where I kind of placed my origin of him, just because that was the source material, and that felt like a good place to go in it. Luckily, it all kind of seemed to work. The fans seemed pretty happy, apart from the odd bit of online abuse about painted on abs. But you know, sue me.
You can't. There is too much about people online. It doesn't make any sense to me, and I just can't pay any attention to any of that, because the moment you corner with one or two bits of logic, then they go crazy.
Yeah.
So, how many of the previous versions of He-Man or Master of the Universe did you watch, and did you have a favourite of those versions?
My favourite was the said animated series. I forget it was the one where it's like a CGI series of it, where Cronus has still got his bottom jaw.
Is it?
I'm just very bad
I think which one it is.
One where there's a group of them that they like the power is shared between people. It's not just He-Man transforming, but a whole group of them, right? I think that might be the one that's kind of CGI-ish.
I was trying to search which ones, because there was the 2000s one, which was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. There was the New Adventures.
I think it was
Kevin Smith.
I think it was like a group. It was after Revelations. I think there was like a. It's like when he says by the power of grace, there's a whole group. It's almost Power Ranger-like.
Wasn't it? It's the 2002 one, I think.
Oh, 2002.
It's on Netflix. No, hold on. I think it's.
I think I know which one you mean.
They
look very blocky.
Yeah, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah. I think that's the one where there's a group like
yes.
It kind of transforms a group of them rather than just him. So
it's the 2021 one. 2021 one. Yeah. So I looked at that, and then I looked at the original cartoon. Mm-hmm. But obviously I knew that, like, I saw the concept art for him that we had, and like and then I just looked, and then I went to some of the comic stores and just looked at the comics, and people had done these like really hideous gothic versions of him, and I was like, okay, I was kind of sprinkling, like, you know, in Lord of the Rings, like the original Uruk-hai in the Fellowship, the one with the handprint.
It's like where they've literally hammered metal into themselves and stuff as armor.
Yes.
And bits and bobs.
It was very much, you know where they're like born out of the embryo sac and they come out and Christopher Lee's like, you have one purpose, but it is to are you ready? And they go. They
voices are great.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, well, I mean that would be. I would love to do a bit more animation. I hope if Trapjaw gets animated, they call me up to do him.
I was going to say, because the reason I was bringing up those animated versions is because they have their own thing and often kind of meant to be campy evil, but you studied what he would actually be like. Like you said, you were like, okay, let me actually take this seriously and make this person a character. And you thought about like the weight, the pain, the like everything about it, so that it made it. I think all of that contributed to it being real and menacing enough so that, you know, when it's fighting against Man at Arms, like, it's like, no, this is an actual problem here, rather than just...
Yeah. Yeah, and like, you know, like the bit where we filmed the bridge scenes first, and it was very useful because they gave me that small army of the slightly cybernetic horde, you know, behind me. And I interacted with those guys, and we like had some fun with it. I gave, like, you know, I'm like, wait, you know, giving them orders. We agreed upon hand signals, and like how he's at the front of all of them all the time. And there's the bits where Skeletor arrives, and I march with them. They're like my little army, and we kind of treated it like that, like a mercenary. But he maybe did look a bit like them.
Yeah.
But now he's like, he's gone, you know, like he's lost in all this machinery. And I hope that he comes back more mechanical.
Yeah. I think it has to. And I think it made the perfect foil. There must have been something deliberate about it. I don't know how, if you got to contribute to this, but the matchups they had seemed to work. So that mercenary aspect matched up with Man at Arms mercenary, and same with the other matchups, right?
Yep.
And so that must have played off really well.
It worked really well. Yeah, like Evelyn and Cammy and Tila. And then of course you've got your like main good guy, main villain is like Harry Potter, Voldemort, you know, He-Man, Skeletor. But then absolutely kind of like the military faction.
Yes, exactly.
I've felt, I mean, I'm very lucky. I mean, only when you really watch like the thing come together, you're like, oh my god, wow, I'm like the main baddie as far as Idris is concerned.
You are,
and that's
yeah.
I mean that to me is insane.
I mean, it's literally Skeletor, then you.
Yeah, you are the Man at Arms.
You are
the Man at Arms on that team. You are the Man at Arms.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's mad because, you know, coming down from it all. We filmed it a while ago, and now I've just kind of like, you know, I've not filmed for the past couple of months, and I'm just sort of back to being a dad and normal life. Very, very straight, very kind of surreal and strange to go to these premieres, and then kind of, particularly when I haven't come from being a celebrity. I've done stuff, but, you know, like I did House of the Dragon. I've worked in these kind of worlds, but I'm very much like not a star. So like it's quite new, all of this. It's lovely though, because I couldn't ask for a better group of people to be like well known amongst. I've just had, apart from the odd wanker online, I've not really had much of an issue, and now I just stick to my own page. I got taught the hard way: don't go left field off your own page. I made the mistake of going on an AI rendering of like a comic book trapjaw, and people were like, "Oh, we should have had this, not the dad bod we got, and all this stuff." And I was like, "Fuck, I'm being like body shamed at scale. I need to get off this page."
I was going to ask if, between this, House of the Dragon, Blade Runner, like that's a lot of fandom protected kind of IPs.
Yeah.
Has your relationship with fans kind of changed? I guess beforehand, because like you said, you were just used to being at home, you're doing normal kind of day-to-day things, and now you're exposed to this. Has that changed your relationship with the fandom of these things? Or? Yeah,
well, I think. Do you know what? The internet is the phenomenon for me, because it's like, because without the internet, like if I exclude any online interactions, right, then literally no change to my daily life whatsoever.
Yeah.
However, you know, we're all on our phones all the time. We're all talking on the internet right now. So I have had, by and large, an incredibly positive experience with the He-Man fandom entirely. I feel like I've been soaked up and I belong to this like family of fans. I feel like I've got this like online community of people, of like cosplayers and fans of the toys and the IP. I feel like it's been resoundingly positive, and I've actually, that day when I saw those comments, I reached out to some of the guys I've been chatting to and said, I'm really upset by this thing, like I would to like my own friends, and they were like, bang, they were on it. I did. Yeah. I know. I just didn't know whether you wanted me to say, but everybody was. Everyone was, because I don't mind saying something bothered me for 24 hours. I got through it. You know why I got through it? Because I touched grass and I spoke to some of the proper fans who are really, really, really properly kind in return. And I'm not embarrassed to need that support from people. We're all human.
Yeah, I mean, to put it bluntly, like when you messaged me and said then, and like we're not afraid to say stuff on here and like that, it was just like, yeah, what a load of bollocks. Like, it looked incredible. Like, it looked so good. I mean, there was the one thing I know this is too. This has just popped into my head as well because I get this quite a bit as well. Ugo knows this because obviously I'm a bit younger. He's like, how do you know this sort of stuff? Master the Universe, because obviously I didn't grow up with it. I used to get VHSs with my nan from like charity shops and stuff like that, and that's what she bought me. She bought me the box set VHS of Master of the Universe. So that's how I came into all this and everything. But going back to that scene with Man at Arms, the first fight scene, I love how it brought it into a modern age of like, we got the campiness, we got the look and everything like that. But that first fight is quite violent.
It's really violent.
I mean, the way I'd like compare it was, it's a totally different thing. But when they first showed Daniel Craig's Bond in Casino Royale, they wanted to show a brand new take on it and everything, and there was the black and white scene where it's like, this ain't the guy who used to do gadgets and stuff. This is a down-to-earth, grounded fight. And it felt like that. It was like, we got the campiness at the start, like all these flamboyant things, and then we went straight into one of the most brutal fights you could probably do at the start of a film.
Yeah, it was serious. Like the bit where my jaws, they do oil, like blood coming out. That, by the way, I mean, this is how not reliant on CG they were. I filled my mouth up with that stuff. And it's real. Yeah. Pouring out my mouth.
I've done that before with some stuff. It's horrible.
Exactly, it's horrible. But it's not like, even there, it's not CG. I had a black dye in my mouth and a black gum shield and black Vanta black paint. So it's like, it's like we were not like about to be putting dots everywhere. It's like, it was hard won, that character.
So much better.
Authentic.
Yeah, man.
Practical is so much better. It feels so authentic. Like one of the ones I go to, who is just a main practical guy, is like Guillermo del Toro. When you just look at the difference between someone using practical and CGI, and they're using the CGI to enhance a little bit rather than just be the predominant thing, I think you can genuinely just tell. Mm-hmm. You can tell in a performance, you can tell in a look, because like looking at your face in the green rather than just being flat green or CG and how it moves, you can see like the skin texture and everything and how it moves and stuff like that. It is so much better than just, let's put some dots on and let's fix that in post. And as you said, like as an actor, it gives you something to play off as well, because this is hard to move in, so I've got to emphasise this jaw to actually get it to go, and it just makes it so much better and believable.
Yeah. I mean, the Star Wars thing shows that all the different iterations, and when they've used practical and CGI, it shows that difference, right? I just wanted to say the fact that I think is really cool that you have said on here about those comments that disappointed you or made you feel a certain way, because that kind of goes on the theme of He-Man in the first place, about masculinity and being able to talk about your feelings and things like that. So I just want to say that like that's actually really cool. But on that, so you mentioned about like touching grass and stuff. Obviously, you live. I think you live near Brighton or in Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton. Yeah.
And I used to live in Croydon. I used to sometimes go down to Brighton. What does touching grass look like to you? I think of Wonder Man, where we got to kind of see the life of an actor and their day to day, and when they fail, when they succeed, and the things that he just does on a daily basis. What would yours look like your kind of day to day?
You're great. You really are. Because they're questions because you like to. It's nice to think.
Yeah.
Great question, man.
Very practical.
Okay. What is my day to day? So I'll talk you through today. I heard the noises from my daughter's room, who's 15 months old. So my partner, Kaylee, went in to see her, then I did, and then we all kind of woke up as a family. We kind of join in, both muck in, giving her breakfast, whatever. We're sort of still feeling out our daily routine, because there were times when it would be like we're so tired because we would have got up so many times in the night. One of us would be like, you do the morning, please, I need the sleep, or whatever. But now we're getting some better night's sleep because she's that little bit older. So then Kaylee goes off to work. She's a midwife. I taught a maths lesson this morning because one of the things that I did in between acting jobs for a long time was teaching A-level maths and physics. And I basically still keep some of them just gently ticking. For the quiet periods, because being in films ain't what it used to be. I'm not picking out houses in Highgate. There are no royalties anymore, unless you're already rich, in which case they need you so much they'll give you royalties. So that's, that's just the business model of movies now.
Right.
Everyone apart from like the main 4 or 5 at the top of the movie who are like the IP themselves and they're like the names or whatever, you're looking at a wage and a buyout right from the get-go. Because someone else will do it if you don't. Right. And so I did a bit of that, and then I spoke to a couple of... On some days, I'll do a bit more teaching. So today, I went out and I went on a run from... I got the bus up the coast, met a friend, and then we ran along the coast, along the cliffs, down to here, and then I had a coffee, and then my daughter came back from nursery, and then we played on there's this grassy patch outside where all the flats can use it. We sat there, we played together. I tried to keep my phone upstairs. And then I spoke to a couple of other people about a couple of other auditions and stuff like that. Did a podcast, cooked my family dinner, and then spoke to you guys. And that's what a day looks like for me.
That's amazing. I want to ask are your students familiar with the stuff you're doing in Master of the Universe, and how did they kind of react in class? Like, did they try to look for any opportunity to quote something like, by the power of 2 or by the power of 3?
Yeah.
I don't know,
You are speaking Ugo's language.
Yeah,
with
I did maths and further maths at A-level, so you're particularly you're talking right.
Brilliant. I'm great. Yeah. Well, so woefully, 1 or 2 of my students give a damn that I'm in anything, and the rest of them I'm like, hey, I bet it feels pretty crazy that your little old tutor is on TV, and they're like, no, not really. I think that generation are so nonplussed by being on screen. I think probably Ugo, you and I can remember that if someone was on telly that you knew, you all knew that they had been interviewed by the news, and you all crowded around and watched the news to be like, so-and-so's on telly tonight. It was a big deal.
It's a different...
But now, and you probably can remember hearing your own voice back for the first time and going, God, I don't sound like that, do I? Whereas now, we all know full well what we sound like because we send voice notes or videos or whatever. But I think we're just from a time where I think the silver screen thing is different. It's the first time I've been on a big cinema release, and that is, a lot of the students are pretty amazed by that. But when I did stuff for BBC, or even when I did House of the Dragon, I was cutting a kid's head off in that. None of them gave a fuck.
That's hilarious. You
None
raised
of them cared
about the voice thing, because I do remember hating hearing my own voice, but it is so common now that everyone is on a screen somewhere. So like you say, because you're on the screen, like, so is this one and that one and that one. Someone does well in Twitch and all of a sudden they've got more followers than, I don't know, a well-paid actor or something. Like it's crazy. That's very true. Yeah. That's really interesting. Must be interesting for the students.
Yeah, like I listen to myself every week when I have to edit the next podcast, so it's like I'm just used to it.
Well, this is what I mean: is that you know what your voice sounds like, you know what your face does. You probably on a given day you have more of an audience than someone who gets their first role on a soap does. Whereas I think I'm still sometimes lost in a moment in like history, which is how I define my own childhood now, history. But I'm still kind of in this period where I'm like, oh my God, there was a time when, like I say, being on screen was like, even if your family got a camcorder, you'd crowd round and you'd almost be like embarrassed with your family to see like, oh my God, there I am in Corfu. Oh my God, I can't believe it. It'd be this amazing experience to see yourself blown up on the family telly. And that it's easy. Yeah, it's easily forgotten. Crazy, man. Yeah, it really is. It is.
Wow.
It is.
You just putting Hugo back to the past now, and just him
I
sat there looking.
literally,
Oh my
I always
god!
find you're absolutely right because it's interesting. I look at things. I feel like we're quite a unique generation in that we have seen the before and we are seeing the after, and so we know when something doesn't feel right because we've experienced it before. We know what it's like to walk around without a phone. We know what that feels like, so we know we can feel when something's kind of say rotting if we were too attached to something like that. I really love that you mentioned earlier that you literally deliberately put your phone upstairs and had that kind of practice, which I wish is something that I did more often. We know what it feels like to have a landline telephone, to call out your friends and arrange to meet up and go play in the playground and things like that. It's really interesting thinking about how fast things have changed.
And the nostalgia for that time wrong on the wrong day can be really almost painful and acute. The other thing about it though is that when you go to the cinema and the door shuts and you sit there with your popcorn, that is, I must admit, that is a moment of complete delight from my childhood.
Yes.
Like I watched The Lord of the Rings first time in the cinema. And The Phantom Menace and all that. Like, I was at a wedding with Peter Serafinowicz the other day, and I forgot he played Darth Maul.
That's crazy.
And I was a bit
he
like...
did the voice, didn't he, in the original? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a... Yeah, I mean, he's like a... You know, he's, in a sense, like, 26 years ago, he's sort of long in the tooth now in these universes. But it's an amazing thing to be, like, soaked up into, and you don't realise, in amidst the chaos of being trying to be an actor, then becoming a dad, and then daring to say, okay, I'm a dad, I'm going to try and be an actor as well. This is this thing I've wanted. In a sense, it's a slightly selfish endeavour. And so, particularly when you're surrounded by saints who work for the NHS, so you kind of think,
It sounds like it keeps you grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your family, what you do outside of it, I think it keeps you grounded. And I find if you're involved in any way in something that is revered by a lot of people, if that is something that you appreciate in that way and you still have the other things that you love, I think it makes you far more appreciative, and you can also deal with the challenges of, say, fandoms, for example, or whatnot. Because you have other things that fulfill you.
Yeah, I think that's really well observed, and I think that, like, I'll be honest, LA was all right. I just didn't feel like these moments where you can feel your ego being like fed on a really, like the beast is there and they give you everything you should need to have a really inflated sense of self for a bit. And I'm very lucky in that if 5 years ago, even, if you had taken me to LA and told me that I was like the next big thing, I might have turned into a total dickhead. I'm just that kind of all this sort of stuff is happening at a time when I do still have a real sense of what's important. And actually, the fandom for this, by the power of grayscale, by luck, happened to be a load of people who are like good people too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They seem to be, by and large, an incredibly good bunch. Like, I've not had a podcast yet where people have been like difficult or looking for needling for horrible gossip or anything.
Yeah,
everyone's been very nice.
It's interesting. So our experience of that premiere, where we saw you, I had a similar feedback, even just about the event and the people, and we said things like, "This felt really wholesome. It was a wholesome event,
so fun."
I think it had something to do with the nostalgia of it, and the kind of people it brought out are those who appreciate that. And it was a hypothesis. I don't know how true it is, but I feel like that may be part of the reason. It's like the kind of people that appreciate that are those who they can watch the old Masters of the Universe. They're not going to sit from dusk till dawn picking out every single thing that doesn't work, whatever. It's just like, this is a cult classic. This was fun. And look, we got this now. How lucky are we that we got this live action and we're still around?
I think you're talking about exactly the right attitude. I think that there's an element of, I think we're in a funny old phase of like modern critiquing as well, because it's like it's become a whole job in and of itself, and the percentages that you look at and numerical figures. I remember taking a chance on a movie based on the front cover, and then only my opinion mattered. I mean, I think there's so many of those, like think about Dude, Where's My Car? You think that movie would have got made and made the amount of money it did in a time when Tomatoes would have said, "No, it's bullshit, don't go watch it."
Right.
People would have Googled it first and not wasted their money. But people went to Blockbuster and saw 2 stars on the front looking funny, and they just took a chance, whatever. You bought some popcorn and had a sleepover. And then you had it on VHS, so you watched it 4 more times. And it was a good time. And I think that, going and picking apart something with an IP that is meant to be enjoyed with the same humour as a Saturday morning cartoon is akin to going to a shopping centre on Christmas and going, well, the Santa was all right, but it didn't have a very realistic beard. You'd think, well, guess what, dickweed? You're at a local garden centre. Going to take your kids to go and see Santa. Like, why are you trying to look for a real beard? Just have fun.
Yeah,
That's exactly
literally.
right.
I look at it like, obviously, like right now we've got Marvel Cinematic Universe. We've obviously got DC and all this and everything. I even look back to when I was a kid and like there was none of it. There was like we got the odd Spider-Man, we got the odd X-Men here and there and everything. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll go and watch one of these ones and it's not as great as the other ones, but we are eating good. I am getting the IPs and stuff that I love, and I'm actually seeing them on the big screen and everything. To just put it to a number, and then a lot of the time I don't even look at the numbers to go and see a film. Like if I see a trailer and I'm like, oh, I like the look of this, and then they go, oh, it's a 2-star. I'm like, nah, I like the look of this. I'm going to go on my own judgment.
Good on you.
I'm going to go and watch it.
That is good to hear, because I think people... It's a funny old phase of culture where we're in this kind of mode of like deciding to rob yourself of enjoying something. How totally fucking cynical is that? I'm just like, how strange to go, I'm not going to... Because I've been guilty of it too, particularly when you come out of drama school. You think you're some sort of like hot shit, like Chekhov Shakespearean auteur, and you come out like, oh... Low art, and you're like, it's so embarrassing, to look back because you're like, go out and enjoy stuff.
Yeah,
the world's hard, like
because I know that there will be people watching this and saying, "Oh, what? So I can't not enjoy something anymore." And the key thing is, with all of that, is first of all, you are taking your own opinion to take that chance. I really love because. I don't know why. I forgot about the days of looking at a front cover and saying, "Oh, that looks good. I'm picking this out from Blockbuster Video," right? And that's a great way to put it. But when you didn't like something, it stops there. It wasn't something that you go shouting about to all the townspeople and lighting up the torches so that everyone knows around the villa.
I think that's the difference. I agree with you. I don't think we're not saying like don't have a critical opinion.
Yeah.
It's like the critical opinion, I think, used to limit you from going and watching it again. And that was like the consequence. It wasn't for you, fine. Yeah. But now it's like, it's not for me, and here's why I'm going to tell you it shouldn't be for you either. And that seems really...
And if you like it, you're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. That seems... Yeah, it's a very kind of... It's this sort of like death by democracy kind of way of approaching enjoying art. It's a bit of a... I'm glad that people are going to start kicking against it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they are. I think we're seeing the turn of the tide at the moment.
I believe so. And right now, there's a lot of...
Nothing beats cinema for me. Like going when it comes to movies and stuff like that, nothing beats watching it on that big screen. Like when they did announce that Masters was going to be in IMAX, because originally I have a friend who runs the cinema down the road in Sheffield. He was like, I asked him, I was like, are you showing it in IMAX? He was like, I don't think it's going to IMAX. And he messaged me and said, it's in IMAX. And I was like, hell yes. I'm so excited to see this in IMAX, because just looking at the trailers, I know this is going to pop. The colours are going to pop. The sound is going to pop. And I was just excited to go to the cinema, and I've seen it every single time in the IMAX. I've just been back again to see it in the IMAX, because it's worth it. It's worth seeing it. And it's a time, like, I know we say about phones and stuff like that. I do when I'm at home, sometimes, even if I am enjoying something, sometimes find myself just be getting distracted. I'm like, oh, my watch has just gone off. Someone's messaged me. I'll have a look. But when I'm there, it's like just written in my mind that I'm like, I don't touch it. That doesn't get touched. I'm in this world. I am in Eternia for this 2 hours, and that is it.
That's very reassuring to the old farts in this conversation.
Yeah, it is a world where there's obviously a much larger conversation about attention spans and things like that, which I am also subject to because as demands continue and move on,
Same.
It's hard, but we are able to observe it, like I say, because we knew a time when that wasn't the case. But I hope that does really change. I wanted to kind of completely switch onto a fun road, a more fun road.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the times when watching kind of characters on movies, I love quoting them, love doing the voices, love like certain mannerisms, and certain things stick, right? They're like Mr. Anderson, whatever it happens to be, right? What was yours? So for your character, that is. In fact, the one for your character and in the movie in general, like the thing that was like, I like this, and I kind of hope that there is someone out there repeating this part because that was really cool. Like when I said this.
Okay, that's good. So I'm just going to go with what comes to mind. So I think a lot of people have said back to me, "Weak little palace boys."
I knew that was the one for me. I just love that.
With the like, and then what was one of the others? I think the one where he goes, things are getting a little out of hand, and I go, oh, they are.
Yes, yeah.
They are they? And who might you be? Like he's got a bit of a sense of humour.
Yeah.
And then my favourite line in the whole film is when Mechanic says, "Here's to Alan," when
because
he gets Adam's name.
He goes, "It's Adam."
Yeah.
And he goes, but his neck goes up as he gets excited. He goes like, "Here's to Alan." So, mate, I don't know. Just because I think it's because I know James. He's such a doofus as that part. He's so great. It's such a clever choice that he made, I think, because actually, as an actor going in at like your first role is in this massive blockbuster for James, to go in and make some massive choice, like putting your voice like this, is like, I've got nothing but love for that. I love it. I think it's amazing. I think he's a genius for it.
Yeah, I think the bold choices are really what stood out when Troy and I were. They did these. They were interviewing people at the end, right, of the premiere and stuff, and they asked us to describe He-Man, describe Masters of the Universe in 3 words, and it's just kind of on the spot. And bold and hilarious were 2 of mine, besides nostalgic. And the bold choices, I think, is really what stood out, and it made it memorable. It's like Avengers had memorable moments, like there were like really bold, memorable moments that made you like kind of laugh as you went along. And I felt a similar kind of thing here in Master of the Universe. But also, it just got funnier as you went along. I literally found myself laughing more and more frequently as we went through the movie, and just couldn't help it. And I feel like people really lent into remember where this came from. Remember what we are actually kind of acting. So on one side, you're making the characters real by taking the characters seriously, mannerisms, the voice and everything. And then it's like, also remember who they are. And it just makes it that much more enjoyable being kind of bombastic in the humor and things like that. I mean, even in my head, I just think of Battle Cat's like mouth around who was it at the end? Just like
Beastman.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, wait, am I just watching a cartoon in real life? Like, how has this just happened? It's great. It's great.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to point out the one that cracked me up so bad was where Skeletor they've just flown off in the ship, and he just faces everyone and just goes, "You blockheads, you band of pathetic, pitiful pissheads."
Yeah.
I just absolutely love that. I think.
Or he says, "They are but worms," and they go, "They are but worms."
Yeah.
That's good. I like that one.
All the wordplay. There was so much of that wordplay.
Yeah. Or
it makes me think of I think Skeletor's
I like Cammy's line. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, whose?
Where Cammy says, where they talk about his childhood or something. He has a skull for a face. Like, it's not that deep.
Come on.
Yeah.
I did appreciate that though. That Skeletor doesn't have this ulterior thing of as a kid he was pushed down and beaten up. Now he's just a villain. He's just the
Yeah.
bad guy, isn't he? He's just openly the bad guy, and there's no debating that, and he loves it. He even says himself, does it feel good?
Yeah. I am the villain.
Yeah, exactly. You really, by the way, you really need to do more animated features voices because
Hey, hit me up. Who who do you know? Who do you know? Tell the world, man.
I wish I knew people, but Troy and Dex need to put this out there so that they can hear.
Yeah,
I
we'll
wanted
clip
to,
it. We'll clip
like,
this bit
yeah.
specifically.
Well, I wanted to ask, like, I thought it might be too forward asking you to do the voice of Trapjaw. So it was just a delight to actually just hear you doing some of that as well as the other voices.
Oh, I'll do as much as you like, mate. I'm.
Outstanding.
There'll probably be some sort of convention agent somewhere going, "No, don't charge." But that's not.
It's like a cameo account.
Are you invited to any kind of conventions in UK?
Yeah, I am. I've got a convention. I think there's a sort of my agent is on trying to make that happen because I would really love it because I like the fans and I like traveling. So I would love to, and if I go to one, I'm sure. I hopefully there will be a demand for Trapjaw to be at
I believe
one.
so.
I guess.
I believe so. I'm going to make a suggestion for that hopefully your agent will will try and listen for. Dragon Con in Atlanta.
My gosh.
It is
Go to
the
Dragon
best
Con.
con on earth, not just because of the style that it is, but the age groups is those people who would understand and respect like the Masters of Universe franchise and things like that. And
Sick. I love Atlanta as well.
yeah. Oh, you would love this con. It's my favorite one. Like yourselves, you wouldn't just be sitting behind glass, like not, you could interact with people and chat. It's a little bit more free for the stars and celebrities there and things like that. So that would be my number one choice. Not just biased because
Noted.
I totally agree with that. It was my first time last year, and Ugo's been saying to go for years, and it is the most wholesome place. And I've been wanting to meet a lot of the cast from Daredevil for years, and I have over in the UK a couple of them. And sometimes in the UK it's a bit like you're ushered along. You're like you talk to them, and then please move along, please move along. Going to Dragon Con, you actually get to talk to them as if they're just a person, not just someone sat behind a desk. So I highly recommend that one to look into. Definitely, if you are looking at going to one outside of the UK, that is a perfect shout for something like that. Definitely.
Great. I'll definitely look into it, guys. 100%.
Nice
Okay.
one.
So
Awesome.
are we?
Yeah.
Are we coming to the end of our time? I'd imagine. I've got to do some. I've got to do some chores.
Got a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you got a little
that's
one?
all good.
A little one waiting for you.
Yes. So a little one who's destroyed the kitchen and the living room. So I've got to just sort of undo that and then ready for it to be destroyed again first thing in the morning. So that'll be nice.
No, really, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Sam. You were phenomenal in the film. I probably will be going to see it again at some point because I am just loving it. I have already got the 4K pre-ordered and the Steelbook pre-ordered.
Also, a little exciting thing as well. Sorry, I cut you off there. I didn't mean to. A little exciting thing is I'm partnering with Castlemania. I don't know if you've seen Castlemania, but they're selling, because I wanted to find a way of doing distribution for my drawings. Because I was doing a lot of them.
Yes, I've seen
because
you do
I
sketches
I do draw. And a lot of people are asking where they can get them. And I've not got really like the means or the expertise or anything to do like distribution for these things. So Castlemania going to be releasing those soon, and I'm going to continue to do some of them. I think probably do some on commission as well, so that the fans have got something maybe tangible that I've done. So yeah.
Artists.
Amazing. That's fantastic.
Boxing, fighting, rugby, acting, school teacher,
Voice actor.
It's just
Master of None comes to mind.
I don't agree with that. Watching the performance, I definitely do not agree with Master of None because it was.
Oh, bless you.
No, Master of the Universe is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Very well done, guys.
There we go.
Careful now.
Perfect.
I won't be able to get into bed. My head will be too large, and I'll
Well, we're saying publicly that Trapjaw needs to still be alive and he needs to be kitted out more. Like it needs to be like Nebula from Avengers.
Yes.
Like any damage needs to be more tech and more like. So we want more of
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah.
obviously
No
we're in
one in
spoilerland
Eternia
here.
actually dies.
Yeah.
He will be somewhere in Subternia. He will be back.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
want in with anything to do with She-Ra as well. I know we're in spoiler territory, so it doesn't matter. When it comes to the Horde, I want Trapjaw with them as well. I want it all. Want it all.
Hordak. Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Well, some
Sam,
people were suggesting that Trapjaw should become Hordak.
He does have the look. He does have the look, especially as I think of the Netflix She-Ra version of the Horde, as I have. Does have the look. Can you imagine the coming back? It's like kind of revenge and kind of even super
Here we
speed
go.
and Skeletor.
What would the voice be like for Hordak?
Yeah.
Let me get a recent Hordak. I've got to look at a. Okay, let's have a look. Okay.
That's a really good question.
So I went in a minute. So okay, what lines are we going to say for? What lines would we say for Hordak?
Hold on.
God.
No, like what like I'm looking at him now. No, I think that okay, so he's attained some like wisdom. He's gone into Subternia and he's got submerged and he's cultivated who he is in the shadows. I think he would be.
It's the laugh.
It's the laugh. It definitely is the laugh.
It is the laugh.
I think them up the
walking around the corner.
little, yeah, and then
Can you say?
weak little palace boy.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. You need to do more animation. You really needs to do more animation.
Yeah,
I've got a line from the She-Ra show.
okay.
So I don't know if I'll be able to paste it in here in the chat. I don't know if you'll be able to.
Why
see
don't you just say the line and I'll say it back to you?
Okay.
Say it.
Okay. I want you all to watch and learn. There is nothing I do not know, nothing I am not willing to do to punish those who betray my trust.
I want you all to watch and learn. There is nothing I will not do to punish. What about like that?
Yep, exactly. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hopefully we can get this to Travis.
Casting over.
and that
There we
Yes,
go.
exactly.
There we go. That's
Please
me.
watch
That's
this.
my.
And
Yeah, that's okay, guys. That's a
Well,
mortgage.
so you
There
and
we go.
Hugo are the casting the directors for the sequel, and you're hired.
Yeah, there we go. Let's all meet in Delusion Studios and make this thing.
Sam, please plug where anyone can find you so we can see more of your stuff, more of your drawings as well. Definitely, because that needs to be seen, because I've been seeing your drawings and they're flipping great.
Well, I'll try and get one to you. And Castlemania will be where my drawings are. I believe it's under the handle of Trap Draws. Very clever. And
Brilliant.
and my Instagram handle is Sam C Wilson Actor. It's just a statement of fact. And and that is me, really. That's how I'm findable.
I think it's necessary because there's also Sam C. Wilson teacher and Sam C. Wilson this and Sam C. There are so many of you, so it was appropriate. Yeah.
God bless you guys.
Well,
Thank you so much,
Sam,
guys. It's been
honestly,
such a pleasure talking
Thank you so
to you.
much for your time. Yeah,
Thanks,
honestly,
lads.
it's been an absolute pleasure. So yeah, if anyone listening has not seen Master Universe, what are you doing? It is in cinemas now, and it is brilliant. Thank you so much, Sam. Take care.
Nice one, boys. See you later.